Welcome to another edition of Danny's Hot Takes. Today we will be reviewing the newest book, Warzone Octarius Volume 2, Book 2, Critical Mass Effect. So, just kidding. It's just Critical Mass. And we're going to start... and I'm joined today by John, of course. You've just heard his voice. Yeah.
I provide
what a wonderful man.
The wonderful one-liners. I have no actual information.
So, like, in this instance, like, our roles are reversed from, like, Room After Dark then, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Except you're still the only one providing useful information, so.
You call forth all the... Anyway, so let's talk about this. So we've got to start with the Index Cartographica here. This is the first part of this book. Again, like, we're not going to review fluff and things like that, but you should definitely check all that stuff out. There's some really cool rules in this book. Even though it's a little light on that, it's still got a lot of good background, and it's pretty interesting. I like the Crusade rules too, for some of the other stuff. Anyway,
I was gonna say, I will say that the background stuff in this is superb, and the Crusade rules I think are some of the best Crusade rules I've seen, and that includes Crusade supplements.
Ooh,
so, yeah,
spicy.
Definitely a hot take to get, but sadly not our focus.
Yep. So hey, let's talk about Index Astra Cartographica. So this is the rogue traders of the 40K universe. We're going to talk about their rules. So they start off here with their abilities. They've got Warrant of Trade. Basically means your dudes can get into any Imperial transport. It's kind of like an Inquisitor. But these guys bargain for it. And then we have the Agents of the Imperium rule. And this is kind of a repeat of the same rule. Now, we'll talk about this kind of at the end, but it makes, like, placement of this army, or like the units from this index, a little difficult sometimes, I think. And pretty limited to what you can take as well. So, which is both good and bad. I'm glad that, like, you can't just spam units of these, like, all over every single army, and they're going to show up in every army. They probably won't. So let's check it out. So we've got the Cartographica Road Trader. And so basically the way that they have these laid out is they all cost the same number of points. I think they're all 60 points. And their data sheet. So a character, weapon skill, ballistic skill 3, strength and toughness 3, 4 wounds, 3 attacks, leadership 9, 4 up save. Nothing to write home about. They can come in 3 different ways, and so these are the ways that the different rogue trader models that are available are equipped. So it represents one of these characters. These characters themselves no longer have data sheets. It's just like kind of a generic choice. So we have, like, one of them has a digital laser, a pistol, a monomolecular cane rapier, concealed archaeotech weapon, and concussion grenades, a disruption field projector, and a multispectral auspicer. So you can tell, like, they have, like, a ton of different equipment. There's the one with the 2 negotiator pistols. Then there's another one with an heirloom pistol, Colt blade, a court blade, a monomolecular rapier with archaeotech grenades. So most of them come with, like, all these pieces of war gear. They have, like, kind of some intricate war gear here. The weapons are decent.
I was gonna say, like, the one that's coming with, like, the 2 negotiator pistols.
Yeah.
Pistol 3, 12-inch range isn't great, but strength 5 -2 and 6 shots for each, or altogether is not terrible.
Certainly not bad. No. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, if this thing's getting within 12 inches of anything it wants to shoot at, then it's not long for the world.
Yeah. The household pistol is pretty decent at 1 shot, strength 5 -3, 2 flat damage. So that's kind of cool. I like some of the weapons. I like the monomolecular cane rapier. Just they get 6 strength 4 attacks with it. That's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So definitely some interesting weapons. They all have a 4-up invulnerable save, and they get to reroll ones to hit for the character, which is interesting, not the crew. Kind of shows how selfish they are, I guess, in that respect.
Very fluffy.
Yeah, totally. And then they have a couple of rules. They have the Warrant of Trade and Agent of the Imperium rule. And then they also have Captain on Deck, where friendly Voidsmen at arms within 6 can use this character's leadership, which is 9. And then Master of Commander. If your army is battle forged, you can include a maximum of 1 Cartographica Rogue Trader model in each detachment in your army, so you can't put them in every single detachment. And this model cannot be taken as a compulsory battlefield role slot unless it is taken in Astra Cartographica detachment only. So
no using it as a cheap HQ for your Space Marines.
Correct. Yep. Which, yeah, that would be interesting for some armies, especially or Custodes.
Yeah,
like just to take a cheap HQ. Although their HQs are really good, so that's probably not a great choice. And the other unit that we have here is the Voidsmen at Arms. So this is like the unit of deck troops that came in the Kill Team box that we saw. So they have basically lasgun, las pistol. One model can take a rotor cannon, which is heavy force, strength 6, -1 damage, which is it's okay. And then the leader has an artificer shotgun, which is strength 4, -1 AP. They have kind of stormtrooper statistics. So 4-up save, ballistic skill 3+, still strength and toughness 3 though. And then the unit can take up to 1 canid, so it can take a dog. And it's kind of like the little, it's like a little Doberman that they have, right? That's kind of got bionics. And once per game in the combat phase before blows are struck, or when the unit is selected to fight, you roll a dice. On a 2+, an enemy unit in engagement takes a mortal wound. If you roll a 6 though, you do D3 mortal wounds instead. So the dog attacks, and then you don't get to use it anymore. They have Masters of Close Confines. I thought this was kind of a neat rule. Like, I'd like to see this on more, like something like this on more models. When this unit is wholly within an area terrain feature, they get +1 to hit in melee. Like, just kind of like cool little rules like that to symbolize, like, I don't know, they fight inside ships. So like I said, the Rogue Trader is 60 points, and then the Voidsmen at Arms are 8 points apiece. You can have up to 10 in a unit. They start at 5, and then the dog costs 5, and each rotor cannon costs 10.
How do you take them though? That's the question, right?
Yeah. So like, there's no rules here that state that like, if you take a Rogue Trader, you can also take a Voidsman unit. Like, so you'd have to have 2 different detachments to take 1 Rogue Trader and 1 Voidsman unit, unless you take a Vanguard. And then you could take 1 Rogue Trader and 3 Voidsman units, and that would be like, but then like you're breaking all your army rules and stuff like that. So
is it worth losing your special super duper army rules, your ability to take your army secondaries and 3 CP to be able to take a slightly better unit of guardsmen?
Yep, probably not. We'll see though. I mean, I can see like maybe if you're going to take 2 detachments anyway, for 100 points you get the unit of Voidsmen and the Rogue Trader, and they have an ability to like deep strike the unit.
Yeah.
For a command point. I don't know. I mean, even that seems expensive. Like, their grenades are kind of cool for stratagems and things like that. But let's go over the Warlord traits, because apparently they also have Warlord traits. So
yeah, because you're going to take, 900 points over 3 detachments.
No. So you can take a Warlord trait if you just have them as your Warlord. So they don't even have to be in a Cartographer detachment, right? Mm-hmm. And they get so there's also a stratagem where you can buy a Warlord trait for one of these guys, kind of like the Inquisitor.
Yeah. Because, he can't just be the compulsory one, but he can be like a cheap little Warlord beside the other ones. But why?
Well, he could be a Warlord if you wanted to. There's nothing. He just can't fulfill like a slot allocation.
Okay.
So I think you can still take him as the Warlord if you wanted to, which is kind of thematic, I guess, right? Like a Rogue Trader, like lead some Space Marines down into a world or something like that.
Look at all these things I bought.
Yeah, I paid for these. So he's got a Master of High Society. Whenever you use, this is a weird one. Whenever you use a core stratagem or an Astra Cartographica stratagem, you roll 1d6 on a 5+, you get a command point. So you get CP regen on common strats and ones from this book only. So not on everything in your army.
Cool.
Which is like, I guess you get it on rerolls. That might be useful if you use a lot of rerolls, but I tend to find that if you're using rerolls, you're probably not playing the right way anyway.
So, for example, you're taking this Rogue Trader.
Yeah, so maybe it's a good choice for you. So you got Privateer. So this gives your Voidsman arms obsec within 6 of the Warlord, and they can make actions and still shoot. And then Duelist. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say that's not terrible. I mean, it's not great, but if you're taking them,
if you're gonna take a vanguard of these guys, I guess maybe taking Privateer is a good choice.
Yeah,
but I don't know. Are you really gonna miss those like 8 lasgun shots and 2 shotgun shots?
You're forgetting the rotor cannon.
Probably buddy. Not. Okay, sorry. 6 lasgun shots, 4 rotor cannon shots, and 2 shotgun shots.
Ooh.
I'm going to spend a command point to make sure they can still shoot. Cool.
Oh. So Duelist.
Attack, they can reroll it to hit roll. Yeah.
So,
each time the Warlord makes a melee attack, they can reroll it to hit roll, and if you roll a 6 to wound, they do 1 mortal wound in addition to normal damage. Yeah, that's probably actually not bad. Like for one of these guys with like 6 attacks.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That could be useful. I guess though, like they're not rolling the 2 wound roll, so they're probably doing like 3 wounds to a Space Marine squad, and then they get saves. Yeah, I'd still probably pass on that. Like you might do a mortal wound. Yeah. Okay. No thanks.
Exciting.
All right. So we've got stratagems. We have violent acquisition for 1 command point. So this is when you select an Astra Cartographica unit from your army to shoot, or in the fight phase when they fight. Each time a model of that unit makes an attack that targets the unit within range of an objective marker, an unmodified to hit roll of 6 adds 1 additional hit. Okay, cool. So like, I mean, it just isn't getting much value out of this because you can't shoot with a lot of models at once. Like ever, like 10 guys can benefit from this. So you shoot like 20 shots with exploding somethings. I don't think I like that one very much.
Exploding 6s on lasguns aren't super sexy.
No, well, unless you have a lot of lasguns, and then maybe we can start talking. Master of the Void. So this lets you pick a Warlord trait for your Rogue Trader. You can buy this twice if you want to.
The sheer detachment cost of using that twice.
You've got Close Quarter Barrage. Select 1 Voidsman at armed unit from your army that's within engagement range of any enemy models. Their weapons all become pistol weapons instead of.
Just, not bad. If you're in combat.
Unit was just like a little bit better. Like that would be cool.
Yeah. Or if you could take larger units.
Yeah. If you take like 20 guys, then maybe we're talking. Anyway, we got concussion grenades. So this is for the Voidsman, and the characters can have concussion grenades. Use this in the shooting phase. Select 1 enemy unit, excluding vehicle and monsters, within 6. Roll a d6 on a 2+. They are -1 to hit. That could be neat, I guess, if your army doesn't really have that.
It's kind of neat for throwing into other stuff because they can go in other vehicles. So having them pop out, maybe throw a concussion grenade at a unit that's in combat with something else that actually does damage in your army. That could be helpful.
And you can do it on an engaged unit already, right. Which might be cool. Yeah, I mean it's decent, I guess. I guess it's a way that you can do a targeted -1 to hit with a stratagem. It's just really close range. One thing you can do is you can use this on a unit that advanced, and you can still hit them on a 2. There's nothing that prohibits you from doing that because the leader still has a shotgun, so he gets to shoot still. So. Yeah, maybe it's a little bit longer than I thought it was. Teleportarium Chamber. So this one lets you basically pick one Rogue Trader and 1 Voidsman at arms unit and put them in strategic, or like the reinforcement, they get to deep strike back onto the table. So anywhere outside of 9 inches from the enemy.
And within 3 inches of each other.
Yeah. So that's cool. It's fine. It's a good way to get a deep striking unit in your army, I guess, if you don't have that option or don't want to take one of the 1,000 other Imperium deep striking army units like stormtroopers, and they don't have to spend CP to do this. I don't know. Okay, cool. Then we have Archaeotech grenades. So this one is you can throw it as long as you're not within engagement range of any models from your army, and you're within 6. Roll a d6, subtracting 2 if it's a character. On a 2 through 5, they take d3 mortal wounds. On a 6, they take 2d3 mortal wounds. That's actually kind of interesting, I guess. As long as you're not engaged and you're like running around with the characters, you can just like mortal wound stuff that's maybe locked in combat, out of combat potentially. Oh no, because they can't be engaged with any models. Yeah. I don't know. It doesn't seem great. So yeah, that's the end of this index.
Can I say something on this?
Yeah.
I don't think these rules have a place in competitive 40K. But when combined with some of the missions and the Crusade stuff in this book, they do have a place.
Yeah, dude, you know what? Like, I would totally take them if I were going to play, like, if I had like a Crusade army that I wanted to like theme as like a Road Trader expedition force. I would totally take these guys. That sounds really fun.
Yeah, no, or like it's like a themed like narrative mission where maybe you have to escort this rogue trader in the squad through this badland or something along those lines. I think that's primarily why the rules are there.
Sure.
We talked about it before, how it's really hard to make a force. I'm sure it'll be FAQ'd in a month where you can take them together. But right now, like having to take 2 detachments to take both, it's not super where it would need to be seeing any kind of play.
Yeah.
That's how Mad Daddy is about it. Just gonna.
Oh, sorry. Oh my God, that's so terrible.
So allergic to the canid.
No, I'm just sad he dies now. Like he attacks and then dog is murdered. So
yeah, don't buy these models because it promotes animal genocide.
Just kidding. No.
Kidding.
You should buy the models because they're cool.
They are. Final thoughts, Danny?
Yep. Like John said, I think not competitive. However, like it's a really fun unit to take in some narrative play missions. And that's been a review of Warzone Octarius, Book 2, Critical Mass, Trouble Down Under. So if you enjoyed our little review here, you can listen to us jape every week on Monday nights.
Jape.
Yeah. Do you like that? I'm increasing my word use here. I got one of those little calendars where I learn a new word every day.
Yeah.
I don't. So you can find us every Monday night on the Frontline Gaming Network on Grim After Dark, where John and I interview people. We also have a bi-weekly. Sometimes we do a mob rules like once a month.
Yeah, at least once a month. Which reminds me,
totally.
We gotta talk about that soon.
Yeah. We'll get that sorted. I'm really glad you guys get to listen to us plan our next episode here. All right, so but yeah, check us out there. If you like this video, like and subscribe. We'll be doing more Codex reviews as time goes on, as long as G Games Workshop keeps letting us do that. Oh yeah, thanks Games Workshop.
Yeah, thank you so much for this review copy provided by Games Workshop as an advert. So just to let you know, it's an advert, and this was a review copy provided by Games Workshop. And then also to kind of just break the mold. This army isn't good competitively.
Thanks for listening.